Hey, everybody. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but we are back and ready to go. Anywho, for those of you joining for the first time, my name is Deandra. I'm a bit of a horror fan, as you could tell. I do love Freddy Krueger and A Nightmare on Elm Street. And basically, I do a weekly live, which is this, my spooky studio, where I just talk to fellow horror fans in my studio and go through collection items, a movie that I just watched, or perhaps a list of movies that I'm looking forward to or have some involvement with. And last week, I went over my top 10, my dastardly list of top 10 horror movies that I liked in 2022. And basically, that was my list of horror movies that I thought were not going to include everybody's favorite. People love Barbarian, they love Smile, but they were not in my top 10. I did not really care for them that much. And today, I'd like to talk about the horror movies that we have to look forward to in 2023. Some of them are already out now. I have listed them in the order in which I'm most looking forward to them. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about my list, but also sharing the other movies that you're looking forward to. Without further ado, let's get into this dastardly list of the 10 horror movies I'm looking forward to, and you should be too, in 2023. So, number 10, out now, Megan. Everybody's been talking about it. It looks like one of those just pure fun movies that you really can't take seriously. I hear it can be gory. It just looks like fun horror, and the marketing alone is enough to make me want to watch it. I've just been so impressed with everything they've been doing from Smile and Megan. I think that it's really important that horror movies continue to just take over the experiential marketing, which is basically when you promote something and you like bring everybody into an experience of sorts. So by having all those Megans run around, it's experiential marketing. So that's my number 10. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, but hopefully soon. Number 9, Saw X. It's making its arrival not until later this year. Tobin Bell returns. Jigsaw John Kramer coming back for the first time since 2017. We don't know much about it, but of course, it's a Saw movie. And I've seen several of the Saw movies. I've not seen all, but the last few Saw movies, except for Spiral, I watched in the theaters and I enjoy them. I never thought I'd be a Saw fan. I thought it was going to be torture porn. I thought it was just going to be like cutting people up and no big deal. But I really like the Saw movies, and I think that they just have good lessons to them. And so they took me by surprise. They could still make me wince, but I enjoy them. So Saw 10 is number 9. Number 8, Evil Dead Rise. Um, did you guys see the trailer for this? I saw when the poster dropped and it looked too hokey. It looked like it should have been a poster for Smile mixed with Mama. And I was just really not that into it. And then I saw the trailer and thought, okay, this feels like Evil Dead. Like this feels like the remake, but also has that charm of the original Evil Dead franchise. And I love Evil Dead. I love Bruce Campbell. I love Ash. And so I've always loved watching the Evil Dead movies. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do with this one. It looks like it'll be pretty intense, as all the Evil Deads are. Um, I'm still not 100% sold on the plot, which is why it's lower on my list of top 10 horror movies to look forward to in 2023, but we'll see. Hi, Danny. Glad you made it over. Actually, glad 6 of you made it over. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but here we are. We're together now. Number 7, Maxine. 80s, hello. I will watch anything that takes place in the 80s. 70s, 80s, you've got me. I was not the biggest fan of X or Pearl. X was on my list of top 10 movies for 2022, but I didn't really care for Pearl that much, unfortunately. And X was fun, but it just wasn't my favorite. And so, why is Maxine on this list? Well, the 80s. And I'm just curious to see what they're going to do with LA and that character in Hollywood. So that has piqued my interest. There's a fun teaser on YouTube that has the 80s music going, and it's just basically like an over the Hollywood Hills shot of coming around what should be the Hollywood sign, and it just says Maxine. I love that it is about her not giving up on being an actress and trying to be a star. I'm curious what she's going to do. Is she going to start to be the killer and like get rid of people that are in her competition? How's this going to go? Curious. That's number 7. Number 6, Infinity Pool. Mia Goth, once again, Queen. Alexander Skarsgård. It looks like a trippy, wild, sweet ride. Honestly, Mia Goth looks insane. It is a film by Brandon Cronenberg, who is, of course, David Cronenberg's son. So you could tell that there's elements of his father kind of influenced and coming through his vision. So I'm really, really sure that it's going to be something that we can all enjoy. And I love David Cronenberg's movies. I think he is just such a creative director. They're gross, but they don't like sicken me to the point where I really don't want to watch his movies. Like I just love everything that he does. If you've seen our episode of Snacks and Screams on the Fly, which I highly recommend, I think you should check that out. But so Infinity Pool, I mean, even outside of having the Cronenberg involvement, Mia Goth has been dominating, and of course, the Skarsgård brothers. So Alexander, he was in The Northman. What a movie. Looking forward to seeing him in this. And of course, he was in The Stand, the TV version that came out. Actually, I think it was in 2020. I think that was it. But it was just in the last couple of years. So that's number 6. Number 5 is actually already, well, it comes out on Friday. So it's almost here. It is Skinamarink. It's a Shudder original. Have you seen this trailer? It's freaky. It's shot like it's on an old 70s video camera, and there's a voiceover that you used to have like in those trailers, but it just repeats the same line over and over again, and then it gets a little distorted and a little distorted. So what happens is it's about some kids who wake up, and this takes place in the 70s, and they can't find their father, and all of the windows and doors in their house have vanished. And that's it. And just that thought plus this trailer, I'm curious to see how it's gonna go. Hi, Danny and Lois. This is Tommy. Click, your biggest fan. Hi, Tommy. I would love to interview or review 1992's Dracula. We love Bram Stoker's Dracula over here. I love it. I've seen it several times. But there's a chance that who knows, maybe we will do a Snacks and Screams on it. Typically, I try to keep that to movies that I've never seen before. But we did do Freddy's Nightmares, and I had watched that episode. So there's probably a nice place for Bram Stoker's Dracula. Stay tuned. We're still trying to figure some of that out. So that was number 5. Skinamarink, Shudder original, coming out on Friday. Number 4, David Gordon Green's The Exorcist. I love The Exorcist. I don't think it's the scariest movie of all time, but I was not alive back then, so I'm sure I can see why a lot of people in previous decades to like before I was around thought it was. Definitely a creepy movie. A lot of scary, scary imagery that had to be really something for the people in the 70s to see. Um, but it's David Gordon Green, who we know has been behind the recent Halloween trilogy. So I do like the tone of those Halloween trilogy movies, and I'm curious to see how that translates into the Exorcist franchise. It's a Blumhouse movie, which for some people it's kind of back and forth. It can be, but typically I do at least like all of the Blumhouse movies. Produced by Jason Blum. Danny McBride's involved, which when I still think about it being Danny McBride just blows my mind. Ryan Turek is overseeing the project for Blumhouse. So if you know Ryan Turek, he was very involved with the Halloween franchise. And of course, Ellen Burstyn is returning. Apparently she might be in it for a little bit. Who knows? We'll see. But I love The Exorcist. I really do like David Gordon Green and the Danny McBride team and the team over at Blumhouse. So I'm curious to see how they're going to pull that off. So that's number 4, The Exorcist. All right, we're about to enter my top 3 list of horror movies to look out for in 2023. But I'm going to go back through my other tops first. Number 10, Megan. Out. Looks like fun, probably kind of stupid. just up my alley. And the marketing, crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I put it a little bit lower on my list only because it's out now and I feel like people have seen it and I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I've kind of seen some spoilers so far. Number 9, Saw 10, Tobin Bell, welcome back. I actually like the Saw movies. Number 8, Evil Dead Rise. I love Evil Dead a little bit more than Saw. Not too sold on the premise, especially the poster, but it still looks like it's going to be pretty brutal. Number 7, Maxine. Didn't really like X and Pearl as much as I hoped, but I did like X and I loved the character of Maxine with her blue eyeshadow. I'm curious to see what she does when she's in LA in the 1980s. Number 6, Infinity Pool, Mia Goth, Alexander Skarsgård, David Cronenberg. What more could you want? Number 5, Skinamarink. Really creepy trailer, a Shudder original. Shudder always does a really good job. And just the whole concept seems extremely creepy. Number 4, The Exorcist, David Gordon Green. Of course, Ellen returns. And I just really love The Exorcist. Such a huge classic. So we'll see what Blumhouse does with it. All right, top 3 movies. But before, I'm going to address some comments. Now, I definitely got to see when it comes out, Danny. Yeah, you should probably see all of these. Exorcist was great. Cinecrypt, yes. Dead Noise. The Exorcist reboot is near the top of my most anticipated list, too. I'm super excited to see what David Gordon Green does with it. Yeah. I honestly, I'm okay with him in Blumhouse. Anything that they churn out. I know that they're all big horror fans there. I just, I have the utmost faith in them. So we'll see what happens. Number 3, Insidious, Fear the Dark. The film is set 10 years after Insidious 2 follows Josh Lambert, which is Patrick Wilson, as he heads to drop his son Dalton, who you remember from the first one that was haunted off at college. But those repressed nightmares of Dalton kind of come back to haunt him and Patrick Wilson. And guess what? Patrick Wilson is directing this. It's like his directorial debut, basically. And he's been in so many of these that I'm sure he's going to do a terrific job. He will always be Raoul from the Phantom of the Opera to me. I will never not see him as Raoul from the Phantom of the Opera. He was that horror hound like 2018, I want to say, in Indianapolis. And he was right next to Carla Gugino, which I still have a hell of a time pronouncing her name. And he had like some serious makeup on, but I was looking at him, I was like, that is Raoul, because The Phantom, 2004, one of my favorite movies of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. And I love Insidious. It's my favorite modern horror movie franchise, like within the last, decade or so. So freaking love Insidious, love Lynn Shay. I've loved all of those movies and I've seen them all in the theater and a couple times. So that's why it's in my top 3, because it's just one of those franchises I love. Conjuring, not in my top. Insidious, in my top. Number 2, Scream 6. Oh, you shouldn't be surprised. You know why? Because out of all this, Freddy, look over here. I got my little Scream collection. And if you guys have heard me talk before, Scream is my second favorite horror movie franchise ever. So it's going to be weird without Sydney coming back, but it is Gail. Plus, I mean, also Dewey, but it's Gail. I love Gail. She is one of my favorite characters in the Scream franchise after Sydney, and actually, she might be my favorite. Gail, Stu, and Sydney. Oh, and this person, Kirby. I love Scream 4. I don't care what anybody says. After the first one, Scream 4 is my favorite. It was the first Scream movie that I ever saw in theaters. It was one of the first horror movies that I saw in theaters on my own. Went to the midnight showing when they had those with a friend. We went to get Applebee's and then we went to see Scream 4. There were like maybe 25 of us, but we were all clapping and cheering the whole time. It was a phenomenal experience, which I'm sure has swayed me, but I freaking loved it. I loved Scream 4. I will always love Scream 4. I will always praise Scream 4. And Kirby was such a sassy, spunky character. Would love to see more of her in horror movies. Glad she's back. We all knew that she wasn't dead. And then Scream 5 confirmed it. And I hear she's in it for a short period of time. So please don't kill Kirby. That would just suck. Okay. Thanks. Looking forward to whatever moments they have between her and Mindy planned. But I mean, hello, Scream. It's like after A Nightmare on Elm Street, the thing that I love. So that is, of course, number 2. And number one, without further ado, Renfield. Yes, yes, I am a huge fan, first of all, of Nicolas Cage. I will watch anything that man does. I would say he's my number one actor for watching anything that an actor can do. I just love Nicolas Cage. You know, he's crazy, he's dramatic, he's subtle. He went to find some treasures. He freaking stole the Declaration of Independence. He did so many cool adventures, knew about history, played himself. He played a fake vampire. Like, classic, dramatic roles, silly roles. And now he's just made this insanely cool resurgence in all these like indie movies, especially in horror. Like, look at him in Willy's Wonderland, you know, in Pig. Look at all these movies that he's doing. Color Out of Space. What? Mandy. Holy crap. Nicolas Cage tearing up the horror scene, and he identifies as goth. But you know what? That is so up my alley. What a dude. And then, of course, Nicholas Hoult is in it, who we just saw in The Menu. And he's done a lot of really great little horror movies. I think he's absolutely adorable. He plays Renfield, and Nick plays Dracula. It looks funny as crap, colorful, fun, gonna be kind of spooky. I just feel like I'm gonna be obsessed with it. I'm gonna watch it over and over and over again. And my God, if you're out there and you own a merchandise company, you better be preparing some Renfield merchandise, because I'm gonna just cover myself in it. Just cover myself in that Renfield merchandise. So yeah, Renfield, my number one spooky horror movie to look forward to in 2023. Really, I'm just chomping at the bit. Let's look at the comments. Scream 4 is pretty great. I agree with that. Thank you, Danny. You have taste. Ted Noy said, Scream 6 can't come soon enough. Inject it straight into my veins. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I feel that. Just put it right in me. Put it right in there. Cinecrypt says, you can really feel that Nick Cage picks roles that he can really play with and enjoy. Amen. I mean, he's always been a character, but now he just like is dominating these just really cool freaking movies. Mandy, what a visually beautiful heavy metal kind of freaking movie, right? When I first watched it, I didn't quite understand it. Now I get it, rewatched it recently. What a trip. What a trip. Color Out of Space, that movie messed me up. What the heck was going on with those llamas? I think that's what they were. I don't remember, but they had some sick practical effects, and it haunted me forever. So that was just a wild movie. Wild movie. And Willy's Wonderland, I thought he was going to talk. Spoiler alert, he does not. Wander This World 97 says Nick Cage is awesome. I even enjoy some of his direct-to-video stuff like Seeking Justice and Primal. Dude, those are in my list. I got a giant list of Nick Cage movies I still gotta see. I am so excited. I will watch him. Just like, if you ever want to get me a gift, just give me frickin' Nicolas Cage something. I don't care. Freddy, Nicolas Cage, just What if Nicolas Cage played Freddy? What if, oh my God, what if they put him in a movie as Freddy? How would you guys feel about that? I would watch it, and you know what? I think he would actually kind of smash it. I think he'd be like, what, bam, surprise. You'd be like, oh, we're kind of looking for this innocent guy, because that's what Robert was. And then he comes into the character. Nicolas Cage come in. Oh, you'd be so good. That'd be right up his alley, too. Kind of a little bit indie, kind of well known. He's Nick Cage coming in hot. Love that. Would absolutely love that. Put Nicolas Cage as Stu's dad in a Scream movie. Oh my God. That is it. That is the sweet stuff right there. Dude, I could see where Stu got his cuckoo from. It's definitely his daddy Cage. Oh, absolutely. Praise be. Praise be. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Give me more. Give me more of your Nick Cage ideas. All right. To wrap up, top 10 movies to anticipate. Sorry, horror movies to anticipate in 2023. My 2023 total list looks a little different, but Renfield is still at the top. Number 10, Megan. We love our dancing AI person. Saw, Tobin Bell, welcome back. Saw 10. Evil Dead Rise. Not too sure about the poster, but Evil Dead is a heck of a lot of fun. So let's go. Maxine, 1980s. Will she bring her eyeshadow back? Who knows? Infinity Pool, Mia Goth, Skarsgård, and a Cronenberg make one heck of a weird looking, fun frickin' movie. Number 5, Skinamarink. The trailer is creepy. I'm hoping that it creeps me out in ways that I don't want to be creeped out. Fingers crossed. Number 4, The Exorcist, the lovely team with David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and the Blumhouse department. Let's see what they do with that. I'm going to probably want to own that. Insidious, Fear the Dark. Welcome to the directing world, Patrick Wilson. Also, just freaking love Insidious. Would watch those movies over and over again. They are my favorite modern horror movie franchise, like newer horror movie franchise. Insidious. Amen. Praise be. Number 2, Scream, my second favorite horror movie franchise of all time. Why are they going to New York? What are they going to do there? Are we going to shake it up a little bit? Are we going to have more than 2 killers? Is one of the killers going to die in the beginning? Are they going to die in the middle? Are we going to, what's it going to be? Is Kirby not in it for too much? Because whoa, this survivor has turned into a killer. Let's see what happens. Wouldn't that be dope? That would be so cool. And number 1, Renfield, Nicolas Cage's Dracula. Need I say more? Bring it on. What does your top 10 list look like? Let me know. But in the meantime, I also want to point out some of my some of the honorable mentions that are also coming out. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. This movie looks like it could be terrible if filmed more indie. Like if this movie was shot in the way that Birdemic was shot. To Jason, I know you're watching Birdemic, and if you guys haven't seen Birdemic, I mean, it was basically looking like a college project in like the 2000s. If it like looks like one of those movies that should be better than I think it's going to be, or like looks like it's better than it actually is. Like the cinematography in it makes it better. You know what I'm saying? Do you know those kind of movies that I'm talking about? It's like a special kind of horror movie where the acting just isn't quite there yet. But a lot of people are looking forward to it, so I'll probably end up watching it just because. Cuckoo, a neon picture. People are saying it could be a slasher. Don't really know anything. It stars Dan Stevens, who you remember from The Guest. Love Dan Stevens, and Hunter Schafer from Euphoria. Haunted Mansion. This is more of just like a fun. It's got Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, Jamie Lee Curtis as Madame Leota. What the frick? I don't know. I love the Haunted Mansion. I love all the Haunted Mansions. So bring it on. And Knock at the Cabin. This was almost in my top 10. If you've seen the trailer, it starts out with Boogie Shoes, Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista, shout out to you. Jason and I were actually just talking about Dave Bautista before this live. It's by M. Night Shyamalan. While vacationing at a remote cabin in the woods, a young girl and her parents are taken hostage by 4 armed strangers who demand they make an unthinkable choice to avert the apocalypse. It looks like it's going to be a fun movie, but unfortunately did not make my top 10. What movies are in your top 10? Which are you looking most forward to for 2023? Let's hear it. Cult of Ghostface would be a good storyline for the series. Yeah, Cinecrypt said that, and I agree. I would love to see what that was supposed to be a potential in previous movies. I think it was for 4. I would love to see it. I feel like we've had a lot of cult of movies with like Cult of Chucky or like, Michael Myers and like Halloween and I think that would be interesting because to me that makes almost the most sense. We're not just trying to worship Ghostface, like anybody could be Ghostface, and you just respect whatever he's trying to teach you. It just feels like he embodies a lot of the anger of people at the time about something. It's just always some kind of freaking reasoning that makes sense and is very telling of the times every single time. I particularly love motivation in Scream 4. I mean, to pretend to be the final girl but want to be the star and pull off this elaborate plot. Love that. Scream 5 was not a big fan, but it is pretty true that people are like, oh, this isn't a true movie. That's not a true movie. And true fans, X, Y, and Z. I mean, it is very relevant to the current situation of what's going on in the world, in fandom, in the horror movie world. But I didn't really care for it that much. I mean, it just felt like they were dangling like a little bit of stew, a little bit of cult in front of us. And then they said, no, it's not even going to be in here at all. So maybe a part of Scream 6. I'm curious. It's going to be out of Woodsboro. What are they going to do out there? What are they going to talk about? These people even know who Sidney Prescott is. Do they even read Out of Darkness? Dead Noise said, if the Salem Slot remake is coming out this year, then that's up there for me. Also hyped for Cocaine Bear, Evil Dead Rise, Fredheads, and Renfield. Oh, thanks for putting Fredheads on there. Yes, if you guys have not heard the documentary that we've been working on for the last 6 years, Fredheads, the documentary, is coming out to DVD starting, then Blu-ray on February 14th, Valentine's Day. It is available for pre-order on Amazon right now. Last I checked, I think we were number 150 for documentaries out of like all the documentaries in the world. Isn't that exciting? It showed the top 10 list, and there were some well-known documentaries in there. So to be number 50 after that, after all the docs out there, very exciting. Let's see what happens. And hey, it feels great to help bring a little bit of a Nightmare on Elm Street into a world that could use it, because it's kind of devoid. Looking at you, Warner Brothers. Heading to Amazon after stream. That was my watch. Yes, we have not come to a deal yet with the distribution company to figure out where we want to stream it, but we are definitely looking into that. We just don't have a timeline for it yet. So right now, it is available for DVD. Yeah, and they look super dope. Paige, our director, has them in her hand. She watched it through. She said it looks beautiful. And she also said that she's sending the rest of the cast and crews copies out. So I will be getting mine pretty darn soon. And you best believe it's going to go next to all of my another Nightmare on Elm Street documentaries, which is crazy. Holy butts. Can't believe that. Can't believe that. But in any case, that is my list. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this after the fact, please let me know what else you're looking forward to. If there's a movie that I have not mentioned, but you're looking forward to, please let me know. If there's something else that's out there that might be coming to streaming, let me know. If you're an indie director and you want me to check out something that you have coming to streaming, please let me know, or message me a screener link and I'll be happy to leave you some feedback. People do it all the time, and it is so much fun. There was fuzz in the air. But that is about all the time I have for now. Thank you guys for joining me after the technical difficulties. Watch the latest episode of Spooky Sips, where I review A Nightmare on Elm Street Coffee by Dead Sled and give it a pretty darn good rating, which, not to be biased or anything, but it's some dang fine coffee. Anywho, I will talk to you guys next week. If you watch Megan, hit me up. Let me know what you think of it. I'm going to try and watch it between this time and next week. And who knows, maybe we could talk about it then. Maybe we could talk about just all the movies that come out every week. Maybe I'll try to watch horror movies and then we could talk about those horror movies. I don't know. What do you guys like to talk about? You want me to talk more about A Nightmare on Elm Street? People love it when I talk A Nightmare on Elm Street. And I just love talking to people who love talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. So anyhow, I will see you guys around. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check out Renfield when it comes out, and subscribe if you're new here. Give me a like and give me some kind of comment. It does help the channel. So thanks so much, Spooksters, and stay spooky, my friends. Toodaloo.